Imagine you buy something important. Not a toy. Something that touches your real life. A washing machine. A phone. A car. You do not just want it to work on day 1. You want to know what happens on day 2 when it starts acting strange. You want a button that tells you what is wrong. You want a person to talk to. You want the right to fix it, or at least the right to understand it. Now imagine the thing you bought is not sitting in your kitchen. It is sitting inside your school, your hospital, your job application, your bank, your city. It is making choices around you. Sometimes it is making choices about you. And when it breaks, you cannot hear the sound. You cannot see the leak. You only see the result. A loan denied. A student flagged. A patient placed in the wrong category. A worker rejected before a human ever reads the resume. That is the hook. The scary part is not only that the system can be wrong. The scary part is that when it is wrong, it can feel like the world is gaslighting you. You feel something is unfair, but you cannot prove it. You feel something is off, but you cannot point to the part that failed. So you start to doubt yourself. And when enough people doubt themselves, power becomes quiet. It becomes smooth. It becomes hard to challenge. That is why the idea of a right to repair for AI matters. It is really about dignity. The context is simple. We are building systems that learn from huge piles of human data. That data often comes from people who did not mean to donate their lives to a machine. Their clicks, their photos, their words, their purchases, their location trails, their faces in a crowd, their grades, their health codes, their small habits. People sense this. They feel it. They know they are being used as raw material. They also know that the outputs can shape their chances in life. And they know they were not invited to the table when the rules were made. That creates a special kind of anger. Not only anger at mistakes, but anger at being treated like an afterthought in a system that claims to be for everyone. Inside one is the surface concept. Trust needs simple tests. When you hire a new person at work, you do not hand them the keys and walk away. You watch them do small tasks. You check their work. You give feedback. You let them improve. When you buy a car, you expect a dashboard. When you use a thermostat, you expect to see the temperature. When you take medicine, you expect a label. AI systems often skip this basic respect. They ask for trust without offering basic visibility. They act like magic. And magic is a bad foundation for responsibility. People might enjoy magic in a movie. But in real life, magic is what you call a system you cannot question. And a system you cannot question is a system that can control you without ever looking like it is controlling you. This is why diagnostics matters. It is the difference between a tool and a mystery. It is the difference between a partner and a hidden judge. Insight 2 is the hidden assumption. Many builders assume the user is mostly a passive receiver. You use the product. You accept the result. You move on. But real life is not like that. In real life, people are not only users. They are also parents, patients, teachers, workers, neighbors. They carry local knowledge that no central team can fully see. A school counselor knows when a student is acting different. A nurse knows when a patient is not telling the full story because they are scared. A hiring manager knows that a resume gap can mean caregiving, not laziness. A parent knows that a child can be fine in one setting and falling apart in another. This is the hidden assumption that needs to be challenged. The assumption that the system can be built in a lab and then dropped into the world like a finished object. But AI does not land in a clean space. It lands in messy human life. It lands inside stress, culture, language, fear, money, power, and history. So if you treat people like passive receivers, you will build a system that keeps missing the most important truths. And when it misses, it will miss in ways that hurt. Insight 3 is the structural pattern. When there is no feedback loop, mistakes harden into policy. Think about how this works in daily life. If your neighbor plays loud music and you cannot knock on the door, the noise becomes normal. If your teacher grades you unfairly and there is no way to appeal, the grade becomes your identity. If a store scanner keeps charging you the wrong price and nobody can fix it, you stop trusting the store, or you stop buying food there, or you feel ashamed for even complaining. Now scale that pattern to AI. A model labels certain writing as suspicious. It flags certain faces more often. It predicts certain neighborhoods as risky. It learns that certain names are less hireable. And because the system is hidden, each small error is not corrected. It repeats. It spreads. It becomes the quiet background rule. People then adapt. They change their behavior to avoid being punished by the machine. They write in safer language. They hide parts of their identity. They stop applying. They stop speaking. They play small. And this is the deepest danger. Not only the wrong decision, but the way wrong decisions teach people to shrink. A society where people shrink is a society where power grows without resistance. Now we reframe with a new perspective. The right to repair is not only about fixing a broken tool. It is about restoring the relationship between people and systems. It is the idea that when a system touches your life, you deserve handles. You deserve an interface for accountability. You deserve a way to test the system with cases that matter in your world. Not in a demo. Not in a marketing slide. In your world. A parent might want to test how a health tool handles a child with a rare allergy. A teacher might want to test how a tutoring tool reacts to a student who speaks 2 languages at home. A job seeker might want to test whether a hiring filter treats a resume gap as a flaw or as a story. A community might want to test whether a risk system is punishing the same streets again and again. This is not about turning everyone into an engineer. It is about giving people a basic lever. A basic voice. A basic route to say something is wrong and be taken seriously. In that sense, repair includes diagnostics, but it also includes retraining. The ability to correct. The ability to say this is not how we do things here. The ability to teach the system like you would teach a junior worker. You can imagine it as a new kind of customer service, but deeper. Not only fix my account, but fix your model in the way it meets our community. Now let us bring this down to daily life, because this idea can sound big until you touch something familiar. Think about a GPS app. If it keeps sending cars through a small street near a school, parents will notice. They will see near misses. They will feel danger. In a normal world, you would report it, and the map would update, and the danger would reduce. Now imagine an AI tool in a hospital that keeps missing a pattern in a certain group of patients. Nurses and families will notice. They will feel it. They will see harm. If there is no clear way to test and report and fix, the harm continues. Or think about a school using an AI tool to detect cheating. If it keeps accusing students who write in a certain style, those students will feel targeted. They will lose confidence. They may stop trying. If there is no transparent test, no appeal path, no way to adjust the system, the tool becomes a bully with a badge. So the practical application is this. Any AI system that affects health, education, work, money, safety, should come with 3 simple promises. A way to test it. A way to challenge it. A way to improve it. Testing means clear diagnostics. Not a mystery score. Challenging means an appeal that reaches a human who can override the machine. Improving means the feedback is not thrown into a void. It leads to change you can track. You reported an issue. You got a response. You can see what was fixed. Even small signals like that change everything. They move people from helplessness to agency. Now the optional deepening, staying on the same topic. There is also something emotional here that is easy to miss. When people feel they cannot repair a system, they do one of 2 things. They submit or they explode. Submission looks quiet. You accept. You stop asking. You feel tired. Explosion looks loud. You rage. You blame. You look for a villain. Both are understandable. Both are often the result of the same design problem. No pathway for regular, calm correction. In healthy systems, most conflict is handled at low temperature. Small complaints get heard. Small fixes get made. People feel respected. When that low temperature channel is missing, pressure builds. Then the only time anyone pays attention is when something goes viral, when someone gets fired, when someone gets hurt, when a headline appears. That is a terrible way to run a society. A right to repair is really a right to a low temperature channel. A normal human way to say this is not working for us and to be part of making it better. And there is one more quiet point. If we want the benefits of AI, we have to stop treating people as fuel. People cannot only be the data source. They must also be co-owners of the outcome. Not owners in the legal sense for every system, but owners in the moral sense. Their lived experience must shape the tool. Their complaints must matter. Their values must be heard. Otherwise, the system will keep getting smarter in a technical way while getting more careless in a human way. And a careless system does not scale safely. It just scales harm faster. So here is the closing question. If you have the right to run your own simple tests on the AI systems that affect your life, what is the first thing you would want to check and why?